Let's take you back to Silindelo Masikane, who is, of course, in studio with us. She was following developments in that case where we saw four police officers that were charged with the murder of Mthokozisi Ntumba during the Fees Must Fall protest last year, being acquitted today by the High Court in Johannesburg. So, Slee, you were still at the point where you were telling us exactly what the judge said prompted him to make this decision.
So, of course, Judge Malangeni went through the facts of the case, essentially. This trial began back in January, and for the past couple of months, we've seen the state essentially just presenting state eyewitness accounts, rather, video footage, statements and testimony from experts in terms of what happened, even police officers and commanders who were there that day. And when he analyzed the evidence following that application by the defense to have the charges dropped, he says that he believes the state simply has not presented enough for the court to be able to actually convict the accused, because there's nothing really linking the accused to this particular crime. Even the video footage itself, you can't identify the police officers. We don't know who actually shot the rubber bullet, if it was a rubber bullet. Just a lot of questions that still remain even after all the evidence that was brought before the court, saying that the reasonable thing to do in this matter was to really to let these guys go. But let's take a listen to just some of those reasons.
In these proceedings, there is no direct evidence in the form of eyewitness or witnesses. I mean to say that there is no person to say he or she saw the accused persons or any of them committing the offenses in question. The state's case is premised from circumstantial evidence, being the video footage in the main.
So ultimately, these guys are free. I don't even think we should call them accused anymore.
Not at all. They are free to go. Charges have been dropped. It's been acquitted. They can go back to work as soon as tomorrow, really. We had an opportunity to speak to some of them. I'll tell you what they had to say. But let's just take a listen to the judgment itself, where Judge Malangeni acquitted the four of the charges.
The state failed to prove authenticity in the form of, for example, expect evidence, so this issue remains hearsay. This court does not have any reason to attach any weight on Exhibit AP. All the exhibits presented before this court do not implicate the accused persons to the commission of the offenses. There is argument that written statements contradict with oral testimonies. I do not regard that as contradictions. Courts do not base their decisions on public opinions and or media reports, but on what has been presented before them. I therefore issue the following order. The application in terms of Section 174 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 is granted. Number 2, all accused persons are found not guilty and discharged in respect of all counts.
Slee, seeing those visuals of the accused and their lawyers, or the former accused and their lawyers hugging and smiling, I wonder if you spoke to the family. It means they're back to square one.
Yeah, it's really a double-edged sword. It's quite strange, especially because it is up to the state to prove its case, right, beyond a reasonable doubt, and everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So for the police officers, they maintain that they didn't do this, and for them, of course, it's a victory. It's something that clears them. They are really hoping that they can, continue with their lives, because this particular court case has brought everything to a halt for them, and their families have been quite affected by it. But we had an opportunity as well to speak to Mthokozisi's brother, Ayanda, who, expressed how shocking it was. He did have the prosecution explain to him exactly why the charges were dropped, but he still believes that, of course, the family deserves answers as to what happened that day. And if these police officers are not the ones to be found guilty, guilty, then who is? Are we saying that this case is just going to go up in smoke? Is nobody going to be held accountable? We know at this point that the NPA wants to study the judgment and possibly appeal, but that also depends on whether they believe there is something to appeal from. But for the family of Mthokozisi Ntumba, I think it is quite a sad day for them, because at this point it doesn't seem like we know or whether we'll ever know who shot Mthokozisi Ntumba.
A father of 3 and a husband. Quite a sad story indeed, to know that the family might not know exactly what happened to Mthokozisi Ntumba. And I wonder if these 4 police officers will sue their employer, because as you heard from Silindelo Masikane, from tomorrow they'll be able to go back to work. I wonder if they'll be looking at suing anybody for defamation or any other illegalities. Excuse me. Let's take